Today on the news and why it matters, it's official. The impeachment, articles of impeachment are now being filed. Nancy Pelosi has spoken. Also, 2020 news. Is Joe Biden considering Kamala Harris as a VP? We got a lot coming up, and it starts right now. Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sarah Gonzalez, today joined by Stu Burgier, conservative commentator Grant Stinchfield, and the Blaze.com's own Aaron Colin. I feel like you laughed at the way that I said news.
I'm being, no, not at all.
Oh.
See, you're being very, I don't know what you're worried about.
I did notice the Midwestern kind of news.
I don't know why. It's like I was born and raised in Texas and I have this really weird accent.
Like from Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota. Sometimes people think I'm from California. I don't know. Whatever. Get over it, all right? I'm from Texas. Got a lot coming up. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Black Rifle Coffee Company. By the way, if you didn't catch yesterday's show, the founder of Black Rifle, Matt Best, was on the show yesterday, so make sure to catch it. He's a really awesome guy. So Black Rifle is a veteran-owned and operated premium small batch roast-to-order coffee company for people who love America, like you. They import only the highest quality beans from around the world and always roast to order their coffees. They do that after you place your order. So you are getting the freshest coffee available. Trust me. All right. Trust me. I love Black Rifle. They've got all sorts of different blends, of course, but they've got the double caffeinated blend that keeps me going and keeps me like with the jitters all day, like I'm on cocaine, but I'm not. It's just Black Rifle. Just kidding. If you join the Black Rifle Coffee Club, you can have the amount and blends that you crave at a special discounted price, and they ship it directly to your home or office each month. The shipping is free. You don't have to rush to the store. You're like 10 o'clock at night. You're trying to make your coffee for the next day, and you're like, oh, crap, we're out of coffee. I've got to go to the store. You don't have to do that. And throughout the month of December, Black Rifle is releasing the best product bundles in America. Stock up on all of your gifts this Christmas season. You got to go to blackriflecoffee.com/Y. You will enter discount code Y if you want to receive 20% off. So, I mean, if you like good deals, I'm just saying, you got to go to blackriflecoffee.com/Y, enter discount code Y to receive 20% off. That includes Black Rifle Coffee Club, which I expect all of you to join because it's awesome. All right. So I know I'm going to shock you guys. Please, I'm glad that you're all sitting down. Nancy Pelosi, in a very big twist to all of these impeachment hearings, actually did tell us they are going to follow through with filing articles of impeachment. Let's hear. Are you okay?
My breath has been taken away by the shock of the situation.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and hear what Nancy Pelosi had to say. Watch.
The president has engaged in abuse of power, undermining our national security and jeopardizing the integrity of our elections. His actions are in defiance of the vision of our founders and the oath of office that he takes to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Sadly, but with confidence and humility, with allegiance to our founders and a heart full of love for America, today I am asking our chairman to proceed with articles of impeachment. In signing the Declaration of Independence, our founders invoked a firm reliance on divine providence. Democrats, too, are prayerful, and we will proceed in a manner worthy of our oath of office to support and defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Nancy sounds tired.
She's been up all night praying about impeachment.
She looks like she's hypnotized.
Yeah, it is weird. She's like
Fred Flintstone hypnotized. Yabba, yabba, do.
Yeah. She looks like she's. Does she need to like say a code word? Is she being held hostage? Like, what is wrong?
That's a great point. I mean, if you really watch that video, with the exception of her eyes blinking, nothing above her mouth moves. Nothing. It's incredible. Everyone makes Nancy Pelosi out to be this like strategic genius behind the scenes. She keeps her caucus in line and all that. And I think there's something to that, maybe. But if she was a genius, she would not put herself in front of a camera. She's terrible in every possible way when it comes to communicating a point. She's monotone. She has no facial expressions. She's not convincing. She can't say the words she's trying to say. Like, these are basic things. Like, put somebody else up there that can communicate the message if you're this big, brilliant, strategic mind. But she's not. And, this has been a really bad process. The more and more I've been thinking about this lately. I think what they thought was that this was the process, but it was Mueller, right? The Mueller thing was going to come through. They had the big investigation. They didn't have to rush it. They had this big investigation. It was going to come out. They were going to convince the American people. They were going to get impeachment done probably late summer. And it was all going to work out well. And they lost that. They didn't want to abandon the impeachment plan. So they're trying to throw this through a week after they hear about this phone call. And it's all terrible. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what direction they're going. And, to me, this seems like a complete disaster for them.
Grant, I was excited because apparently now they care about the Constitution, which is nice.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, and God.
I take away from this, one, she has the audacity to put American flags behind her. She's un-American. What she's doing, she wants to talk about a constitutional oath. I think every single Democrat that is going down this road of impeachment is broken their oath to the Constitution. And then they talk about the founders' vision and what the framers would think. The framers are turning over in their graves with every single policy the Democrats have put up over the last probably 30 years. And she's got no business talking about those things.
Aaron?
I think it seems pretty clear that she doesn't really want to be doing this. She's always been kind of dragging her feet on it, but she's lost control of it. I mean, there's so many people in her party who have so much influence that have been pushing this. And once you get to a certain point, you do these hearings, you do all these reports, you make all these speeches. It's like, you can't turn back. You can't save face unless you just go forward with it and let it play out. But you can tell, like, her heart doesn't really seem to be in it, but what's she going to do about it? They've committed at this point.
Once you're to this point, they have to go through it. Once the inquiry starts, I don't think there's any question they have to go through and get the vote. I mean, and this indicates, by the way, that they have the votes. She doesn't make this statement today if they don't have the votes. But it was such a weird announcement. It's like, we got it. Like, it's like the coach of one of the AFC champion coming in there and being like, we want to announce we're going to go to the Super Bowl and play in it. It's like, well, we know. We've been watching the whole season. We know where this is going. You've been practicing on the field outside the stadium. We assume you're going to show up on Sunday and actually play the game.
And it's weird they say it after that hearing, like that hearing did anything. There was no point to that. Like, what?
That was the
didn't
smoking
change.
gun.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of
those
lawyers
saying
who had no
3 out of 4
firsthand knowledge.
There was one that they didn't really talk to that much.
Yeah.
That hearing, even if you go back to Clinton, they had the articles of impeachment written already, and the lawyers were supposed to comment on whether they were lawful or not. They didn't even have the articles of impeachment written for that hearing. So you had these so-called experts who were really amounted to partisan hacks coming in there, and now she's going to do this. And you say they have the votes. What are the votes? The whole Democratic caucus?
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe the whole Democratic.
They might have a couple that don't even.
That's not the votes. That's not a bipartisan effort that, everybody sees a problem. This is so partisan. It's totally designed just to take this president out. I think the American people are seeing right through this at this point. This helps us, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, we don't disagree on that. I mean, I think, like, the only thing I think that announcement says is that Nancy Pelosi knows she has enough Democratic votes to get this to be a successful end of impeachment. Well, they will impeach him, and then we'll go to the Senate, and then we'll have more to do.
I think also they know that they have to move the ball somehow. They can't just keep, it's kind of fizzled out with these hearings because nothing's being uncovered. So I think they realize the American people are like, okay, nothing's happening with this. Yeah. Okay, nothing's happening with this. You're just kind of staying stagnant and you have these hearings, but nothing happens. I think maybe she felt like, okay, we need to actually do something. Yeah, they're almost, that term that's like something or get off the pot?
Yes, I've heard that. I think they're almost at that point where... Yes. Or get off the pot. I think they're almost at that point where they are like one art class away from graduation. And they're just kind of like, well, we got to go back and do it, right? Like, they're already right there, and they might as well show up and take that one, even though it's not really meaningful in any way. All this is going to do is give them that credential, right? They're going to be able to say, we have the impeachment credential. We did that for you, activists. We got that done, and these Republicans blocked us. They'll have that argument with their own voters and their own donors and their own activists, and they'll be able to go and run spots for the next year that say, this president is so bad, he got impeached. Now, look, a lot of people are going to be smart enough to see through that, but plenty won't. And I think that that's kind of the strategy. They want that sort of credential. They want that diploma that says we got him impeached. And they can kind of run on that. And And we've never seen this tested before in American history. It's never occurred where a president got impeached as he was going into an election. So we have really no idea how that's going to play.
Well, Stu, you mentioned Nancy Pelosi and this monotone, really weird, robotic speeches. Well,
I did.
After she was trying to exit her weekly press conference where she's talking about impeachment, reporter James Rosen asked her, "Do you hate the president, Madam Speaker?" And I got to tell you, she was not so monotone when she answered him. Watch.
Do you hate the president, Madam Speaker? Because
I don't hate anybody.
Representative Collins, reason I asked.
We don't hate anybody, not anybody in the world. So don't accuse me.
I did not accuse you.
You did.
I asked a question.
Oh, it gets better.
Representative Collins yesterday suggested that the Democrats are doing this simply because they don't like the
I
guy.
had nothing to do with it.
I think it's an important
I
point.
think the president is a coward when it comes to helping our kids who are afraid of gun violence. I think he is cruel when he doesn't deal with
a bracelet?
helping our dreamers, of which we're very proud. I think he's in denial about the about the climate crisis. However, that's about the election. This is about the election. Take it up in the election. This is about the Constitution of the United States and the facts that lead to the president's violation of his oath of office. And as a Catholic, I resent your using the word hate in a sentence that addresses me. I don't hate anyone. I was raised in a way that is a heart full of love, and always prayed for the president. And I still pray for the president. I pray for the president all the time. So don't mess with me when it comes to words like that.
I swear.
Whoa, mic drop.
That was ridiculous. I mean,
It's just a question. She could have said no.
yeah, no,
No, and then walked off.
she'd be lying if she said no, but yeah.
And she's a Catholic, so she wouldn't do that.
Right, of
She's a
course
Catholic,
not.
you heard that, right?
Yes, and my understanding is that Catholics super pro-choice, right? That's my understanding. The Pope is like,
that's
mega
your understanding.
There's a Vatican abortion clinic on every single corner of that facility, if I'm not mistaken. That's she picks and chooses so much, and she's like such a weird combination because she doesn't seem to follow anything in the Catholic Church whatsoever, at least to my understanding of it. I am not Catholic, but that's not how I understand the faith. Beyond that, though, like she's like basically publicly facing. She's like Tim Tebow. She's like the most religious person of all time. She's saying things like, my faith guides my public policy. That's something they used to beat up on George W. Bush for even suggesting was possible. And she just comes out constantly and is blaming every single little thing on her faith. Like that's making all the decisions for her. It's such a strange place. I don't know if it's real, honestly. I mean, it's not. Thank you. I do know if it's real and it's not. No, thank you. You're right.
She never quite explains what it means. Like, what are these decisions she's making based on her faith? I'm not real clear on that because nobody ever follows up and says, well, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
She just kind of says it and then moves on.
I mean, you can tell when she goes back up to the mic. You can see the hamster running on the wheel that's turning in her head, that she's just trying to come up with stuff just to tell this guy off.
Kids and climate change and
yeah, really weird
She
moment.
demonstrated in that moment everything that is bad with liberals and most Democrats today. She was arrogant. She started pointing her finger at James Rosen, and he's a great reporter, by the way. I know him well. Great question. She's pointing her finger at him. Then she goes down the road of liberal hypocrisy, which you raise the point, talking about a Catholic, and she's pro-choice and all this. I mean, everything that is wrong with what they're doing, she demonstrated in that one little clip from a question, do you hate the president? She got sent over the edge on that question because, I hate to break the news to everybody, she hates this president.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I also just cannot watch her without thinking of the mom on Arrested Development. It's like I cannot get past it. And it's like I haven't watched the show in years, but it's like that's like her. Like she really is that like really disconnected, weird, like very like plasticky, it's the same person.
Yeah.
Like legitimately the same person.
Sounds like a sexist attack on the Speaker of the House, but
I can't watch her and not think of Paula Dent. All right, back in a minute.
Pretty good endorsement for her.
I mean, she needs to use a little more of it before
But that
Before we get back into the conversation, I want to tell you about NetSuite. So NetSuite by Oracle is the world's #1 cloud-based business management software suite. And Grant here is an entrepreneur, so he knows that if you don't know your numbers, how are you going to grow your business? It's impossible.
You're absolutely lost. And if you don't know your numbers and you're away from the office, now you're really lost. And so this connects you.
Yeah, so that is exactly what NetSuite by Oracle does. As a business owner, you're making a bunch of decisions every single day. Without the numbers, you're blind. You have no idea. So what NetSuite does is they give you a full picture of all of your finances all in one place, in real time from your phone or your desktop, as we just said, wherever you are in the world. You can access it. You can see your numbers. You don't have to have 10 different, programs running on your computer that you're trying to oh, wait, okay, so this is what my sales numbers are and this is what my finances are. No, don't do that. Use NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite customers grow 3 times faster than the S&P 500. Yeah, so you can do that too. All you have to do is go to netsuite.com/why. You can schedule a free demo right now and you will receive their free guide, 7 key strategies to grow your profits. I mean, if you like money, you should probably do this. netsuite.com/why. Get your free demo and your free guide. netsuite.com/why. It's free, all right? Okay. I don't know why I was
so angry. I was
very hostile right there. I apologize. So, Joe Biden, I don't know what to think of this particular story. Joe Biden was asked if he would consider Kamala Harris, newly dropped out candidate Kamala Harris, as a running mate if he wins in the nomination. He said, "Of course I would consider it." He said, "Of course I would. Look, Senator Harris has the capacity to be anything she wants to be except president in 2020. He said, "I mean it sincerely. I talked to her yesterday. She's solid. She could be president someday herself. She could be vice president. She could go on to be a Supreme Court justice. She could be attorney general. I mean, I don't know. She has enormous capability." I feel like that's just kind of how you answer the question. I don't know that he would seriously consider her.
The fact that he thought she could be all those things is proof Joe Biden should never be president.
I mean, because how else do you answer that question, right?
You can't say no because you're voters.
Exactly.
Right? So you have to say, I would consider it.
Yeah.
You certainly can't say no about a black woman that you would not consider them, because then it will be like Joe Biden will not consider a black woman to be vice president.
Right. I feel like he threw in all of those other things, like, well, she could do this, she could do that, she could do this, to kind of deflect from answering.
She could work at Chili's or Applebee's or wherever. Yeah, no, it's a situation where he's in a tough spot. You feel like, because I think Kamala Harris's only good moment in this entire campaign, with the exception of her launch, which was pretty strong, was her taking an incredibly unfair shot against Joe Biden, right? Like, and it was petty and it was cheap, and why would he, of all the people, select her? She hasn't shown herself to be a great campaigner. She hasn't shown the ability to step up at this level. She's a AAA player that had promise, came up, and is hitting 187, is back in the minors. And so I don't know why you'd want to bring her up as your vice president. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And one of the other big strengths of hers was supposed to be fundraising, and she's dropping out because she can't raise enough money. So even that is kind of down the tubes.
Yeah. He was such a nice guy. Because I had her at single A. I did not have her at triple A.
I mean, really, do you think, was he just playing to the audience?
Look, I've run for office. There's certain questions you're asked. You have no choice but to answer it one way and one way only. You have to say, well, of course I'll consider her.
Yeah. I mean, you're just considering, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was serious at all. I think he was just trying to blow that question off. Why would he want her? And I don't know that she would want him. I don't think that match works either way. So
she'd take it in a heartbeat. All she wants is power.
That is absolutely true. I believe that 100%. In other 2020 news, Pete Buttigieg.
How do you say that? News?
Nah.
I'm teasing you.
It's in the name of the show too.
Pete Buttigieg. He's not gay enough, I guess. He apparently he volunteered for the homophobic Salvation Army. Out magazine has now outed him, no pun intended, on his association with the Salvation Army. And everything is stupid and crazy because Pete Buttigieg was just giving back to the community through a Christian-based organization, which he claims to be. And apparently that is not okay. Zach Ford, who is with Alliance for Justice, said, I know the photos are 2 years old, but still, I can't help but wonder if Mayor Pete just looks at what LGBTQ activists have been working on for years and then chooses to spite it, e.g. Salvation Army, Chick-fil-A, queer media in general, etc. Why is Pete Buttigieg not gay enough, Stu?
It's a great question. You know, when you think about all the activities one can partake in their entire lives, being gay is one of the most anti-gay activities you can be. You know, if you, like, for example, if you've got like,
It's true, it's a proven fact.
if you got to take the top 3 things to show that you're not anti-gay, kissing a man if you're a man would be one of them. Having sex with a man would be another. And I would say the most clear proof that you are not anti-gay is to marry another man if you're a man.
That's true.
Like, it's not even something like you're not doing it behind the
cover.
scenes.
It's
like
a
you
cover.
are. I mean, that's really you're going way out of your way.
Hold on. So working at the Salvation Army or eating at Chick-fil-A, those things, you're right, I think.
Wow. It's funny because, like, you know, it's almost secondary, right? Like, the fact that you're trying to come after Pete Buttigieg for being homophobic is so weird.
Crazy.
I mean, it's just weird. But secondarily, like, behind this is this assumption that you have to go through when talking about the story that the Salvation Army is anti-gay, which they are not. Right. They are not an anti-gay organization. There is no problem with this at all. And, you know, look, we're not in the constant business of defending Democrats, but Buttigieg deserves to be defended from this. This is a ridiculous accusation. As usual, it's completely unfair, but it does remind everybody, including Buttigieg, who is part of this, you'll never be woke enough. There's never a moment you get to the end of the road where there's a big woke parking lot and you pull in and you park. It never happens. The road is never ending, and you're never going to get to that point. You're never going to be able to please enough woke people to be woke enough. There's always someone more woke than you who's going to tell you how terrible of a person you are. Buttigieg engages in that behavior with others, and now he's the victim of it. There's a part of me, a dark part of me, that revels in that moment. It's a nice, when liberals eat their own, as Pat always says, it's kind of, it's enticing, but the other part of it is like, you need to realize that this is a culture you're creating, and it's got a lot of problems.
It's a culture that he's created partially himself by sort of dividing, like, this kind of Christian is right, this kind of Christian is wrong. He did it to Mike Pence. You see him doing it in his comments all the time, and so now he's kind of getting it. And you see the Democratic Party drawing this line more clearly that being Christian is incompatible with their values. And so you see people like Pelosi or Buttigieg try to walk that line, but increasingly activists aren't going to let them do that.
Yeah. Oh, Stu is too nice, like Grant said. I revel in all of these people just attacking each other. I just love it. It makes me want to just take... That's why I drink every night. I just realized it. That's why I drink every night. I have wine every night, and I sit back, and I just watch it all unfold, and it makes me so happy. All right, back in a minute. Maybe too happy, actually.
That was really happy.
I'm going to keep doing it. Before we go into overtime, yesterday we reported on a story about a pastor who lost his job for tweeting that gay pride events are harmful to children. We want to go ahead and clarify what actually happened, though the story we reported on alleged that the man who made these comments was in fact a pastor fired from his job. That was not accurate. Upon further digging, we found that the man was disciplined for his pride tweet at the school where he had a separate job as a caretaker, and he made the decision to resign. We also showed a tweet from the username of someone who, although had written the same exact tweet about LGBT pride events, was not involved in this particular story. We regret the error, and unlike the mainstream media, we will always own our mistakes and endeavor to be as transparent as possible.
God, if the media was fixing mistakes that small, they'd never get on any stories.
It sounds to me like the guy was forced out anyway.
He was forced out from one of his jobs. I don't know. It seems like basically the same story. But I applaud you for taking responsibility.
We're trying to be responsible here, which, you know, I
never see it anywhere else.
I have issues with the way that the article was worded when I read it. But, you know, that's just me.
Well, you're drinking wine every night, so what do you know?
I don't even remember.
Let's be honest about it. I mean, we see what's
Wait a
happening.
second.
It's
it wasn't me. I just said.
Huge problem, and we've been trying to deal with it behind the scenes. Please help. Please help.
Send comments or Instagram, social media, whatever.
I'm fine.
We've turned it around on you is what the problem is.
Nothing wrong with 2 glasses of wine at night.
Is that vodka? Oh my gosh, that's vodka in that, people.